Hello and welcome to The Passion Show. My name is Phil and joining me as always is my co-host Kyle.
Hello. So, in today's episode, we're talking about Black Mirror. So, Phil, explain what Black Mirror is to the audience.
So basically it's an anthology series which means every episode is like a different story, right? And each episode is sort of like a different...
It's like dystopian.
Yeah, it's like a sort of very close dystopian futures about how technology can be taken too far and the effects it can have on the human psyche and that.
And it's pretty spooky.
It's really interesting.
Show.
So what are your general feelings towards it then, Kyle? Like, off the top of your head?
There are episodes that I love. A lot are brilliant. A lot of them are amazing. And there are also episodes that I will never watch again because they're just crap.
Yeah, I think there's an overwhelming amount of good in there. But I don't think there's any that... There's definitely not a lot that are unwatchable.
I think we might disagree on a lot of episodes, to be fair. Like, I think I'll love episodes that you don't like and you'll like some episodes that I don't like.
Well, that'll be quite interesting to get into, won't it? It's created by Charlie Brooker, who's known for like a lot of satirical comedy and stuff, and there is a lot of dark comedy in the show,
very good British writer.
Yeah. So what sort of episodes stand out to you?
I'd say probably in the first season, second episode,
15 million merits.
15 million merits, and the entire history of you. That's a very overlooked episode.
Yeah, you'll hear us mention a lot of episode names, but it just helps to sort of watch them, because when we start revealing what happens in the episodes as much, it can spoil a lot of things, and it's quite a spoilery show, isn't it?
We won't spoil anything, but we'll give you like the premise.
Yeah.
So 15 million merits. It's about a guy he's in this world,
like this facility.
Yeah, it's like a facility where you're constantly riding on a exercise bike. It's proper totalitarianism.
Yeah, and you earn points which you can then spend on like food or porn or whatever. You can also spend 15 million merits on, or something like that. I think that is the amount in it. Yeah. On a chance to get on this reality show that can break you out of this system. And it's a really interesting sort of look at, modern day television and stuff like the X Factor.
Britain's Got Talent.
And it sort of breaks down those shows, and it uses like a near future sort of dystopian world to sort of get that across. That's what I like when Black Mirror does that. It shows the modern day through the future. Do you know what I mean?
And the main character, he's
Daniel Kaluuya, isn't it? From
It is. Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya.
I apologise.
Black Panther.
Apologise if we butchered his name there.
But yeah, his bedroom's like all screens, isn't it? Like all the walls are screens.
If he closes his eyes, it makes like a high pitched noise which he can't like get away from. He has to open his eyes and he has to watch it.
He has to consume adverts on his walls.
Yeah. Or you can pay to skip them, but if you pay to skip them, obviously
you lose money.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about with Black Mirror was the sort of idea that it can do no wrong. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, like, I say I hold it in quite high regards, but like, do you think there is sort of a decline in the most recent season since it moved to Netflix?
So I wouldn't say it was since it moved to Netflix.
Because it moved to
necessarily.
It moved on Netflix with season 3, didn't it?
Because season 3 was brilliant.
There's a lot of good.
It was very consistently high quality. Once it got into like season 4 and the most recent one, season 5, and Bandersnatch, I feel like it fell off a bit.
I like Bandersnatch a lot. Like, we can talk about that a lot more in a bit because it's its own sort of entity, isn't it? One of the things that I sort of want from an episode of Black Mirror is like a twist.
Yeah.
Like a twist. But do you think because of the need for a twist now, it makes each episode a bit anticlimactic? And sometimes they go for the twist and it doesn't work, and sometimes they avoid it purposefully. Like an episode like San Junipero.
And the Miley Cyrus one recently as well.
Yeah, and they sort of go for storytelling over it, but I kind of want that twist.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to mention any episodes that have really good reveals or anything, because that is a spoiler, sort of. But the ones that do really stand out in your memory as like the ones that shocked you the most.
100%, yeah. And I feel like they should really embrace these twists more, because that's when the show's at its best.
Yeah, it's when it shocks you, it makes you take a look in the Black Mirror.
Because an episode, it can be like about like a 5 or 6 out of 10, and then the ending can make the entire episode a 10 out of 10. It's like a brilliant rewatch.
And that's what it's good for. It's good for rewatching.
Yeah.
Like, going back and
once you have all the information to notice things throughout an episode. And in terms of the actors that they get on,
there's a lot of British actors and stuff, isn't there?
So what they used to do is get people on before they were famous, and then they became really famous.
Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker. You've got the one with
Toby Kebbell.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've also got Agent Carter.
Hayley Atwell,
yeah.
And she's in the same episode as Domhnall Gleeson, who was in Ex Machina.
But now, recently, so what I was going to say to you was, they've got Anthony Mackie and Miley Cyrus, so now they're going for huge names,
It's sort of...
Moriarty.
I think there's a limit of how far this can keep going.
Yeah.
Because for one factor of that is that people are still waiting for those shocks, and the less they get them, the less enthusiastic they get. And and Black Mirror will try new things like Bandersnatch, which we mentioned before, which was a interactive film where you chose the decisions of the character.
Yeah.
You
chose like one of those Decide Your Destiny books.
Yeah.
What I find with Black Mirror is it's kind of creates its own genre. Like, I love it when someone describes something as like Black Mirror.
Like something like Inside Number 9.
Yeah.
It's like Black Mirror, isn't it?
Or Years and Years by Russell T Davies. Or Circle, which is an indie Netflix movie. There's also a film with Jason Segel in called The Discovery. And it's essentially about his dad discovers that there's an afterlife. 50% of the world commit suicide.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's loads of things that are Black Mirror, feel so much like Black Mirror episodes, but they're not. They're separate entities.
Yeah, it has created its own genre in a way. Paved the way for TV, because I know, especially up to I've not seen the most recent season 5, but I've seen every other episode. Probably multiple times, and I really rank it high, I know there's some episodes that aren't as great as others, but the ones that are good really sort of blow me away.
Yeah. How do you feel about Metalhead? Because
I like that one.
So it's a black and white episode, and it's basically silent, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hated it.
Well, I didn't like San Junipero.
People love San Junipero. That reminds me of another brilliant thing about the show is the songs. So in White Christmas, it was I wish it could be Christmas every day.
Yeah.
And then it was San Junipero, Heaven's a Place on Earth.
Yeah. They work well with their music and stuff. It's a whole package, isn't it?
There's one called, I think it's called Crocodile.
Yeah.
And people don't love that episode, but the song used at the end, we could have been anything that we wanted to be. Oh my god, it was perfect.
I like that episode. It's not great, but the end was pretty interesting.
We're not going to say anything else.
No, but you'll forget about this by the time you get up to that episode. It's season 3 in it. Yeah.
Nobody's following what we're saying.
Nobody's listening to what we're saying. It's got a bit too deep.
Oof.
So if someone wants to get into Black Mirror and you've got to give them an episode to watch, which one do you give them?
The one that Netflix gives you, Nosedive.
Nosedive? You genuinely recommend that to someone as their first?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's just embodies what Black Mirror is, really. That's Netflix's first episode, wasn't it?
I think it's the most sort of blatant about technology being bad.
Yeah.
It goes straight for social media and stuff like that, and it seems like the obvious choice. And it's an American one. It was the first, because the show's British, but when it got sold to Netflix, they got some American actors and directors and stuff in. But
it's got a massive budget, that episode. It looks mad.
I liked it, but it feels a bit different to me than proper Black Mirror. So if I was going to recommend an episode to someone, it would probably be White Christmas, which we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big, chunky episode that it does a lot of things, and you can really take in a lot of what Black Mirror does.
Yeah, because the White Christmas is 3 different stories.
Yeah, but they also, I'll leave it there, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should just watch that White Christmas. It's really, really good. And another one that I like is The Entire History of You.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's the last episode of season 1.
I'd probably agree with you on that one. I'd say, Entire History of You is probably the best one.
That's the one with Jodie Whittaker and Toby Kebbell in it.
Yeah,
that one's really interesting.
I really enjoyed that one.
The sort of gist of that one is that people have this thing built into their head which allows them to record all their conversations and pause and go back and so say if you're in a meeting,
memories.
Yeah, if you're in a meeting and you want to know whether you past your interview or something, you can go back and look at how people reacted to things you said and analyse it. But
so people become obsessed with past
but you
facial
would, though.
expressions
You
that
would,
people
wouldn't
make.
you?
Yeah.
You'd like to think that you wouldn't. That's the point of the show, isn't it? But you would.
As with this is going to sound like a really stupid sentence, but every episode that we discussed, it does hold up a Black Mirror of the world.
Yeah.
Now, even though some episodes are set in the present, some episodes are set in the future, some episodes are set in the past, it completely reflects how terrifying the world is in terms of technology.
It's basically if everything could go wrong, they'd go wrong. Yeah. It's that sort of gist, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what Years and Years is like, isn't it? Big shout out to Russell T.
If you like Black Mirror, I'd definitely recommend Years and Years.
Well, listen to this podcast, then watch Black Mirror, then watch Years and Years.
Yeah.
We're looking at the thumbnails now of the new one, the new episodes. That Miley Cyrus one looks shit.
It is. I really didn't enjoy that one. There's only one episode of the latest season that I enjoyed.
The second one.
Yeah, it's called Smithereens and it's set in the modern day. The first episode of the latest season is called Striking Vipers. That's so weird. It's proper weird.
That's one word review.
Yeah, it's a really weird episode. And then the one that's called Rachel, Jack and Ashley 2, it's just trash. That might be being a bit harsh.
I think what would be interesting if this video does well, if people like Black Mirror, we could do episodes of our show going through the seasons maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe getting some spoiler talk, because I think it's a show that benefits from watching and the discussion of it.
Yeah.
The discussion of it's almost as interesting as watching it, especially when Bandersnatch came out, because with Bandersnatch you can have different endings and different scenarios happen depending on what you choose. So it was fun to talk to people and be like, oh, was this what you got? Oh, I got this. I found that really exciting about Bandersnatch. It sort of reinvigorated it for me.
I spent 4 hours going through everything. I didn't stop. I just went back and then looked for the other timelines.
Do you reckon there's some that haven't been found yet?
No.
And they just figured it out.
It ain't that.
It ain't that complex.
It ain't that real. What I would say is, it's very common for people to describe Black Mirror as something that you can't binge watch. You have to take one episode at a time.
I like that.
It'll mess you up.
I think it's
heavy.
It's just more beneficial if you take your time, because it's better to take an episode in and really sit there and let it digest, rather than just... It doesn't feel like a binging show. It's why they only release 3 episodes, because they want to focus on them and make each one as good as it can be, so people need to take that in.
Having a self-contained story each episode, it's very easy to consume. I really enjoy that, because it gives you something fresh each episode.
Yeah, it's new characters to get into, and a new story, and some you get invested in more. And I guess a good thing about it is that even if there is a bad episode, you're not going to see these characters again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you watch San Junipero and you're bored...
Fucking hell.
Oh no, to be fair, the ones after that are shit. It's Men... What is it called?
Men Against Fire.
Men Against Fire, which is shit. Don't watch that one.
Hated in the Nation.
And Hated in the Nation, which is okay.
Hated in the Nation, that's the B one. That's not okay.
It's alright.
We're just talking smack about this show. We're supposed to be passionate. Anyway, so what episode messed you up the most?
What's it? I know what it is. It's Shut Up and Dance.
Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or the National Anthem.
National Anthem.
The first ever episode.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Do you want to know my story of watching the first episode? How I sort of felt about it?
Go on.
Got told what they showed, didn't I? Obviously, and the only thing I got told was the princess goes missing and the prime minister has to have sex with a pig, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so mental. I have to watch it. And I was watching it and I was thinking, a lot's happening in this episode. How are they going to stretch this out over 3? I was like, what's going on? So the episode finishes. What happens if you've seen it. And then I get to the next one and I'm like, wait, what? They're just in this facility. How does this connect? Does it go back?
Yeah, that being said, it shows how different... Because you watched it back when it was on Channel 4, didn't you? Before it got bought by Netflix.
Yeah, definitely.
So nobody would ever describe it as the National Anthem. No. Would they, they talk about, all the futuristic surfing episodes?
Oh, I prefer the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think they're the best. I think it felt really British, which I know only applies to us living in England.
You'll definitely like Smithereens then.
Oh, good.
The episode that messed me up the most was him Hang the DJ,
Oh,
which doesn't have that dark of a twist.
It's just...
But it's horrible.
It's not horrible either. It's just... It takes you by surprise, definitely.
I was very sad.
It also has a brilliant use of the Smiths song, Panic. So we'll sort of leave it there, shall we? So thanks to Kyle, as always, for being my co-host.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. If you have any passions yourself that you want us to talk about, any topics, then feel free to leave them in the comments, because we'd love to talk about it.
Well, hit us up in the DMs if you want to come on the show yourself.
Yeah. We're doing quite a few episodes by ourselves, but that doesn't mean we don't want guests on. Like, we're always looking for guests, so send us a message.
Yeah, we've still got people lined up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot to look forward to, and if you want to come on the podcast, just give us a shout. But other than that, we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.